Hey guys, this is AuspiciousAussie and welcome back to another Real Madrid Galácticos episode. This is of course the first episode of Season 5 and before we get into anything to do with Real Madrid, just want to go over some international fixtures with with Spain, what did I say France? With Spain and the Spain under-23s as I took over them during this recent Olympic campaign as well. Really disappointing with the national team though, the senior squad. Of course, we did play the Euros. Started the group stage off quite well, undefeated, didn't concede a goal. Beat Switzerland 3-0. Goals coming from Cazorla, Piqué and Isco. We then faced Ukraine and beat them 1-0. Sorry. Lorente in the 91st minute scored late on. And the final game was against Poland, in which was a 0-0 draw. Boring stuff. We then drew Bosnia and Herzegovina in the second round, and we managed to beat them 2-0 through Isco and Cazorla, only to draw Germany in the next round and lose 3-1. Of course, I just recently put in the correct league names and made the German team active, and in doing so, basically screwed myself over. Rodrigo getting the first goal of the game early, so we were leading. And then Gomez, Goetze, and Piqué scored an own goal, which was an absolute howler. Couldn't believe my eyes. We also versed England in a friendly and managed to beat them 1-0 through Isco. Just jump into the under-23 squad now. And as you can see, played a friendly game against Saudi Arabia, finished 1-1. Jose Antonio, my player, and Al Gamdi. We then faced Ivory Coast and managed to win 4-1. Brace through Burble, Jose Antonio once again, and Delofu, and Lucina Traore, the tank, managed to get on the score sheet for Ivory Coast. We then faced Nigeria in the first game of the Olympics. Of course, we were drawn in Group B with Nigeria, Japan, and the United States. It did finish 1-1. Sergio Francis and Solomon Odinkan Cheketu. We then faced, so we started off with a draw, not exactly impressive, and I thought this might be a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. We then faced Japan and absolutely played them off the park. Victor Sanchez, the centre back from Barcelona, and Imanol Berbil with a hat-trick, my player, absolute beast throughout this Olympic campaign, and Morimoto did get on the score sheet for Japan. And the final game of the group stage, we managed to draw with the United States. Of course, they have a pretty decent squad. As I do have the MLS loaded currently. Jose Antonio and Terrence Boyd for United States. 25-year-old Porto striker. Okay. We then got drawn against Ivory Coast, who we managed to beat in the friendly game, and we actually got a better result this time. Federico with a brace and Berber with a brace, and we managed to keep Ivory Coast scoreless this time, which was impressive. We then drew Uruguay in the semi-final, and we managed to win 3-2. And as you can see, Federico, Antonio, and Rodriguez, two of my players, Antonio and Rodriguez, we were 3-0 up. And then in the 70th minute, Bueno scored, and then Gaston Ramirez scored 7 minutes later. And we basically held out for the last 13 minutes. And we were under the pump, shall we say. I made 2 subs, and everything just turned to shit from there. But we did make the final, and we drew France. Of course, they have an absolute tank team. But on the day, we were just way too good for them. We beat them 4-0. Federico with a brace and Eatsmendy with a brace. I mean, Federico, player of the tournament, easily. Second place would probably be Burble and Jose Antonio. I actually only brought in one over 23 player, and that was Aspilicueta. The quality of Spain's is really, really great. And I just wanted to give some youth players a go. Didn't even really need to bring him in, but he was pretty outstanding in the right back position. As you can see in the France team, I have a few players. Got Ben Sada, Varane, Bertho. I think that is it. Yep. So I have 3 players in their starting squad, which is pretty impressive. I'm surprised Ndiaye didn't get called up for the Olympics, but he's back with us now. And I'm going to get into the transfers now for Real Madrid. And there was quite a bit of activity, to be honest. As you can see, the usual Castilla and C team contracts ran out. Jose Rodriguez went out on loan to Espanyol after his successful Olympic campaign. Richard Brodie went out on loan to Ponferradina after his successful loan at Adelaide United last year. Joel Valencia went out on loan to Olympiacos. They're going to give him first team football, and he'll also be playing Champions League this season, which is pretty impressive. Porto came in for Joe Gook, the right back, so I decided to let him go out on loan for another season. His pace is absolutely outstanding, and he's becoming quite a good player. He's not exactly as good as Chang Duk, but he's getting there. And 80k per month for Porto. Han Wook, the other centre mid South Korean, went out on loan to Shoks Monteb for 16k a month. He's turning out pretty well as himself. Not exactly a world beater, but he could do a job potentially. Tejan went out on loan to Celta Vigo. He's never going to be first team, and I'll probably look to sell him on next season. Didn't really have high hopes for him. Kind of just a buy when I bought all those South Korean players. This was the most disappointing transfer I've ever come across. I did not realise that Yakimov had a release clause of 2.3 million. Yeah, 2.3 million. Napoli came in. I tried to offer him another contract. I actually offered him 24k a week. He decided to take 14k and moved on to Napoli. And I had to say I was pretty devastated because I was going to give him first team football this season. So I guess it's his loss. And I still made profit on him though, so I guess that's the only positive. Bought him for 450, sold him for 2.3. But it was disappointing for that to happen to me. I then let Jose Antonio, after his successful Olympic campaign as well, go out and loan to Valenciennes. And some first team football there, should be doing well. Of course, I was training him up as an AML. Yeah. Hopefully he continues that. I then sold Alvaro Morata to Schalke for 4 mil, some of it over so-and-so months. And finally, Miguel went out on loan to Villarreal, but he's not much of a mention. And Arnaldo Rey went out on loan to Real Sociedad for first-team football, and hopefully that will do him wonders. As you can see, he's already a tank. I mean, 17, 16, 17... 18 determination. He's got good influence, teamwork, jumping, strength even. He's pretty much like a first. He could play first team for me at the moment. That's how good he is. But I'll let him go to Sociedad. He'll get a lot of first team football in the Liga this season. And that should be absolutely beneficial for his development. The players in Nikola Jovic from Red Star, great little central midfielder. Already got a cap for Serbia. And he will turn out to be great in the under 19s at the moment. Then signed Pablo from Goiás, striker, Brazilian striker, and look at him, he's pretty much, he's nearly a first team striker, bar his pace, but I am working on that currently, also in the under 19s. Eduardo Roberto, another Brazilian. Of course, I can't play all these Brazilians because you can only have 3 or 4? I think it might be 4 non-EUs registered in the first team, but they're all in the under 19s currently, so it doesn't really matter. He's an absolute tank, central midfielder, AMC. Good pace on him. Look at those stats there, absolutely outstanding. Needs a bit more creativity on him, but hopefully that'll come with time. We then signed Fabiano Lucio from Nautico, another Brazilian. I'm going a bit crazy. Doesn't have jumping, which is the only disappointing factor. 183 centimeters, a bit small for a central defender, but 15 tackling, 14 marking, 13 heading, good first touch, 20 determination, good bravery as well. If he gets his stats up a little bit, he could potentially be a great player. Still unsure about him. Then signed another Brazilian, 450k for Chiruto from Grêmio. This is a right back, sorry. Thought it was a centre back. He's got stats of a centre back. Decent pace, not exactly setting the world alight there. Determination's not bad. Great defensive stats. Absolutely outstanding. 16 heading, 15 marking, 17 tackling. He's got nice little technique about him as well. Good positioning as well. Needs work on his attacking fullback stats, but that's possible with time, I guess. And the final player to come in was kind of, I wouldn't say he's a Galácticos signing because he is a youngster, but I know that this player, in maybe 3 or 4 years, he'll be better than Bahrain, I reckon. And that is Sheikh Diaby from FC Nantes for 10 million. 16-year-old centre back, 17 heading, 13 marking, 16 tackling, 15 determination, teamwork and work rate of 18, jumping of 14, lacking a little bit in strength, but he's also got pace about him, which is just crazy for a centre back of his quality. 188 centimeters as well, so he's no slouch in the height department, and he is in the under-19s, and he'll spend a season there. And that wraps up our transfers. Let's get into the fixtures quickly. Don't want to make this episode too long. First of all, we had Athletic Bilbao, speaking a bit too quickly for my own good. Barry Coyle, Ozil with a brace, and Modric on the score sheet. We then faced FC Toronto in our tour of North America, and managed to beat them 3-0. Ronaldo and a brace for Cheryshev. We then faced Houston Dynamo, and managed to beat them 3-0 as well, through Jesse and a brace for Ronaldo this time. We then faced kind of our English rivals, I'd say, Tottenham, and we managed to beat them 2-1 at home. Ronaldo with a brace and Vidra on the score sheet for Tottenham. And the final friendly game we played was against Sparta Prague, a game which finished 7-2, 9-goal thriller. Sergio Ramos, Ronaldo with a hat-trick, Ozil with a brace, and Douglas Costa, and Mario Holek did get a brace for himself for Prague. And that does leave us with Mallorca in the first game. And surprisingly enough, we aren't versing Barcelona in the Super Cup this season. We are versing Malaga, who did finish runners-up to us in the Spanish Cup last season, in the Copa del Rey. And so hopefully we can win the Super Cup, seeing as Barcelona won't be there. And got a few more Brazilians coming in the coming seasons. And I'm going to have some selection issues very, very soon. Apart from that, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode and the little pre-season roundup. I'm keen to get stuck into this season, and hopefully winning the Champions League this season. That's above and beyond my highest goal for this season. I mean, we're 5 seasons in now. I still haven't won a Champions League. I mean, I've won a Europa League. I've won the league now 2 years in a row. I've won the Spanish Cup 4 years in a row. I have won a Super Cup, despite versing Barcelona every year, and hoping to win the Champions League finally. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that goes, and hopefully you join me back in the next episode. If you could, guys, give the video a like rating, head over to my channel and subscribe. And apart from that, guys, take it easy. I've been AuspiciousAussie. Goodbye.